Hey everybody, Aaron Bishop here with the Bishop's Blurb. One of the things about the Festival of Matza is it can be kind of difficult to pin down exactly what we're supposed to learn from this festival. Now sure, getting the leaven out of our lives, that's important, and the weeks leading up to Passover, the getting this leaven out, that can be a very meaningful time as we search for things that correspond to spiritual leaven in our lives. But during the week of Matza, what are we supposed to learn from that? 7 days without leaven. Are we supposed to go 7 days without sin, without pride, without... How does that apply? How could we even possibly do this? That is a standard that is extremely high. Well, when I studied Exodus 13, I actually saw something that's really cool. So Exodus 13, when it opens, it begins with God claiming all of the firstborn as his own. You know, the firstborn died, he saved the firstborn, and so those who were saved, he in essence owns them. Then in verse 2, the chapter transitions to the Festival of Matza, and it talks about Matza for a while. Then in verse 11, the text transitions back to the firstborn. Why would it do that? Why would it go from the firstborn and then intersperse this bit about the Festival of Matza and then go right back to the firstborn? Why not just deal with them in order like we want it to? And I think that in this, there's something important for us to learn. So let's take ourselves back several thousand years. We're deciding to make bread. How do we do that? How do we make bread with leaven in it? There are no packets of yeast. The way that they made bread was they made what we would consider sourdough. If you've never made sourdough, it's a rather simple process. You take some flour, some water, you mix it together, you set it in a jar overnight. You add some more flour, you mix it together, you set it in a jar overnight. You add some more flour, you feed it for about a week or so, and during that week it gathers leaven from the air, from the surrounding environment, and it begins to grow and grow and grow, and in a week's time, you have starter dough. Now with the starter dough, when you take this flour and you mix it all together, you take some of the starter, you put it into the loaf, mix it all together. Let it sit for about 8 to 10 hours. It will leaven the whole loaf. You take a chunk of that back off, put it back in your starter, and you've got your leavened bread. Pretty cool, right? So what does it mean when at Matza they're told to discard the leaven? Anyone who's ever made sourdough knows that's a difficult thing to do. To take your starter that works, you know it works, it's wonderful, it's great, it's served you for so long, and to throw it out, knowing that in a week, you got to start all over with this leavening process. The firstborn, what do the firstborn represent? Well, anybody who's a parent kind of understands this to a degree. When parents have their first child, there's something new going on there. A new generation has been born. Both of these, the firstborn and the restarting your leaven, they speak to a new beginning. The Festival of Passover, it serves as an ending of sorts to the way of life as it was. And then you're set free and you enter into this new beginning of life, this new creation, as it were. Now, as a new creation, where do you start? You start at the very beginning. A very good place to start. When you read, you begin with ABC. When you sing, you begin with Do, Re, Mi. You start at the beginning. You start at the fundamentals. One of the practices that my family has started for the Festival of Matza is we don't listen to any teachings. We don't listen to anyone's opinion on the word. We read only the word. Pure, unadulterated word of God. No opinions, no teachings, nothing else put on top. We just allow it to speak to our lives. Maybe that's a practice that you can begin with your family.